name is Ron Rawls. I'm the pastor of St. Paul AME Church, but I'm the president of St. Paul School of Excellence. It's a new charter school here in St. Johns County. We have Mr. Tyrone Ramsey. He will serve as our principal for the St. Paul School of Excellence. We have Ms. Jacqueline Bryan. She's one of our board members on our governing board. And I guess since I'm going through this right here, let me get here so I can have everybody. So I'm Ron Rawls. I'm the president. Dr. Bryan is not here. Well, yes, she is, I think. Yes, she is. All right. And so Dr. Bryan, she's just coming in. She's the vice president of our governing board. She's a professor at University of Central Florida in the College of Education. Then we have Ms. Martha Brennan. She's on her way over here. She's the secretary of the governing board, but she's over fundraising also, and so they're over at the church right now having a meeting concerning the upcoming fundraiser that we have. But as soon as they finish that, you'll see Martha Brennan. She'll be over. And then we also have Ms. Jacqueline Bryan. Ms. Bryan is a retired nurse, and what we do on our governing board, we try to make sure that we have a very diverse board that has expertise in different areas as we give guidance to the school. And so Ms. Jacqueline Bryan, she's a retired nurse, and she serves as the treasurer of our governing board. And then we have Ms. Anna Backman. I'm sure she's on her way over here also, but she works in human. She's retired from WorkSource, but works in human resources and professional development, personnel, and so that's the expertise that she brings to the board. And then we have Ms. Karen Rowe. She's a retired educator here in St. Johns County, and so she has that experience of being an educator for an extended period of time. And then we have Mr. Rudolph Tyrone Ramsey. He's been in every aspect of the school system. He's been the teacher and coach, and but in his later years, he served as principal. And I think many of us are familiar with the work that he's done. He really raised Murray game up and did a great job at St. Augustine High School. And so he does the reason that we recruited him because of the job that he did and what the vision that we want to accomplish in our school. And we're perfectly great belief that he's going to be able to get that same type of output from our students. That's Mr. Rudolph Tyrone Ramsey. He's the principal of St. Paul School of Excellence. Now, why are we here? There's a demonstrated need to help lower performing students succeed and become future leaders of their community. LCAT scores in St. Johns County reflect that the overall performance of minority students, that they're lower in comparison to all students. Now, in St. Johns County, we can kind of be thrown off because we're the #1 school district in the state, and we've been that way for 4 years. But one thing that I always do is I always go and pull out. Minority students, and make sure that when we're going around saying we're #1, always make sure that that's for everyone. And so I traditionally do that with Murray and Sebastian, and Cruikshank, and Webster, and St. Augustine High School. And but when we pull those scores out for our students, they don't reflect the same type of numbers. And so that's why we're here. And we're a firm believer that all students can achieve, but every shoe don't fit every foot. And but that's why we're here. We've identified, just to show you some stats so they don't have to listen to me say stuff that might not be true in St. Johns County. This is for last year, as far as and grade reading proficiency. That means they're proficient, they're reading on par. In St. Johns County, we see where the overall reading proficiency of 4th graders is 83%, white students is 86%, Hispanic students 82%, Asian students 90%. You see all those kind of line up right there? that line that sits back there, that's African American students, that's 52%. And so when we look at 52% for Black or African American and 83% for the average student or overall students in St. Johns County, if your math does the same thing my math does, it lets me know that we're about 31% less proficient. Okay, and so when we run around saying we're number one, we got to make sure that we put our kids in a position to be number one, and now, or else we're gonna have to run around and say they're number one. All right, and so this is last year in the whole county, and then in the math, okay, which is extreme reading is that's the foundation, but then in the math, the proficiency rate for math, we see again overall it's 84, and this is fourth graders for last year. 84% for white students, 86% for Hispanic or Latino students, 81% for Asians, 97%. I believe our kids can do that kind of stuff. But then again, we see Black students at 57%. Now, as I add that up, that looks like that we're probably about 27% less proficient in math than every other student. And I'm just not a believer that should be normal. That shouldn't be something that where you say, okay, I understand that. We're not as smart, we're not as proficient. That's not acceptable. Every student has the ability to perform at a high level. But I'm a firm believer that we have to expect the student. I had the opportunity to speak to a parent that called today and asking about St. Paul's School of Excellence. And her child was, I think her child just finished the kindergarten. And we were talking about what St. Paul's School of Excellence expects. And so in kindergarten, we expect for the child to be reading. When that child is finished kindergarten, we expect for that child to be reading. And her main reason for calling me after I said that was she said that that her child is not reading, but her peers are reading, and she just kind of feels uncomfortable with that. And I think sometimes we find ourselves in situations to where you don't have the same expectation for all students, and something you might say, you know what, it's okay that this child is performing here. At least their yearly progress or their gains, it shows something. But I'm in the mentality that if one child is scoring at a 4.2 on the standardized test, another child is scoring at a 2.2 on the standardized test, and then you say, so in the yearly gains, the 4.2 made it up to a 4.3, and then the 2.2 made it up to a 2.4, and then so you try to say, well, actually this student is doing better because they had a higher yearly gain of 2.2. I'm saying to myself, no, that's not acceptable because we're still way behind the mark, and so it's not acceptable for our children to perform at a 27% less proficiency rate in math, and then a 31% less proficiency rate in reading. That means that you're 30% behind the mark just going in, and so this right here is something that'll really, it'll really shock you. That wow, you get this around before this. So that this right here is something that'll really shock you also. Get this little thing there. That's not what I want to happen in the field. Right. So trying to track this thing down and trying to say what really is the issue. What is the issue? So what we did is we looked at graduation rates, because if you listen to our stats in our county, we have great graduation rates. I think the graduation rates that we say overall, the graduation rates for whites 95%, for blacks is 78%, for Hispanics 85%, Asian 93%, multiracial, but overall graduation rate is 93%. I mean, you're not gonna really get. I mean, that's good. You can't get too much where you can get that 100%, but there's not too many school districts that can say got a 93% graduation, and then even for blacks, it's not horrible, okay? But my thing is if everybody else can get 80%, why can't? But then what I did, I said, let me make sure, because see, I know a lot of the kids that I've mentored have made it out of school. People saying people aren't dropping out of school. I know the kids that I mentored, the kids that I had in 6th and 7th and 8th grade that are now in that are now either not in high school or didn't graduate. I know a lot, and so how can I know so many when we're saying that the graduation rates are so high? Because the graduation rates for the kids I know, not 78%. Not the African American kids I know is not 78%. And so what I did is say, let me go and look at the different schools. And so when I looked at the schools, I saw Creekside High School. Creekside High School, when we looked at the graduation rate for blacks at Creekside High School, 100%. Every black kid at Creekside High School graduated on last year. Ponte Vedra, they don't have enough blacks to actually tabulate it. And so that's why that asterisk is there. There's not enough black kids to actually figure out a percent. There's not 1% there. And so they don't have enough there. Bartram Trail, 82%. Pedro Menendez, 97% of the black kids now graduated. Nice, 84%, all above that 78 that we talked about. So what made that 78 happen? St. Augustine High School, the kids that are living in our targeted area. This is the target area that we're focusing on. We're saying that we know that our kids can perform better in this. And so every kid in St. Johns County is welcome, but we've designed our program because the kids in this target area, that's a deep on a test. Okay, and so as far as the graduation rate, that's below level graduation rate. And so if you just use St. Augustine High School, and the blacks are graduating at 66%, and that right there makes more sense to me, because I know a lot of little girls and a lot of little boys that made it to high school, but never got a chance to get a diploma, and so that made more sense. And so that's the problem right there. We can't just sit in our community and act like this right here is not a problem. And so that's why we're here, because those fourth grade proficiency rates in math and reading, it leads to low graduation rates, and we have to be able to address it at an early age, address the problem at an early age, so that number right there can raise, and we can have 95, 96, 97% graduation rate at St. Augustine High School also. All right, and so anyone can identify the problem. Everybody can walk around and say, "Oh, that's a problem." I got supposed to do that. Anybody can identify a problem. Anybody can walk around, that's the problem, that's the problem, but this not right, that's not right. Anybody can go and identify a problem. But we're here to offer a solution, not just say that we have a problem and the school district is so bad and so this and so that. No, we're here to say, you know what, we want to work with the school district for the good of our community, to put all of our children in a position to succeed and be able to compete at the highest level. All right? And so, but the choice is up to us. All right? It's up to you. It's up to us to offer, and it's up to the community to accept what we're offering. Now, St. Paul School of Excellence is a tuition-free public charter school in St. Johns County. Can you, everybody just pretend we're at church right now and repeat after me? Can you look at your neighbor and say free? Free. Can you, when you leave here today, there's so many people that think that there's a tuition. The same way a child goes to any other public school in not only St. Johns County, but our state and our country, the same way they go to any other public school free, a child goes to St. Paul School of Excellence for free. There's no cost to it. There's no child. You don't have to go and try to get a scholarship. You don't have to come up with $4,500 for tuition. It's free. St. Paul School of Excellence is a free charter, a free public charter school. In addition to that, we were authorized by St. Johns County School District and the Florida Department of Education. We had to put in an application, and the St. Johns County School District had the authority to either approve or reject the application. That's why we put together such a strong board, a strong board that had great background, and this was not even the whole founding board. There were probably about 7 or 8 other people with other specialized skills that are actually a part of the school system and work in other areas that actually helped us put this charter school together. And because we had to be approved. When you're trying to be a part of the #1 school district in the state, it's not going to be easy. You know, I mean, they don't have failing schools, and it's not going to be easy just to say that you all need us. And so we had to convince that there was a need. And those numbers that I showed you all, it shows that there is a need in our county. There's a population, although it might be a small population, there's a population that's not experiencing as much success as the rest of the population. And so we were authorized by the St. Johns County School District, and then once they approved the application, and then they send it on to the state of Florida. Now we have a number just like every other school has a school number. We have a school number, and we're recognized in the state of Florida as a public school. All right? And then we had to do a contract with the St. Johns County School Board. We had to, with our attorney, we had to negotiate a contract. Let me get my other student in here. Miss Ray, now come on, baby. I've got you a seat up front. Miss Ray, now this seat right here for you, baby. Come on, baby. There we go. There we go. Look at that line. There you go. All right. And so we had to contract with the St. Johns County School Board. We had to negotiate with our attorney and their attorney and our board and their board. And we had to hammer out a lot of things to make sure it worked for them, but it also worked for us. And we were in a position to where we weren't handicapped, and we were put in a good position to make sure that what we were offering our kids was the best possible opportunity. And so we all met and we came together on a contract. And we finally found a location. We were looking all over the place. If you all knew it, first of all, we were looking at renovating a building that the church owns over in Lincolnville called the Echo House. But then when the situation didn't work out with the building that's right next to it called the Excelsior Center, we needed both buildings to make it work. We couldn't also get the Excelsior Center. We had to change from making that school and find another location. So we've been looking for locations. And we finally, when we start out, we don't have a lot of capital dollars like the school district does to build schools. You don't really start getting those funds until later on after 3 years. And so you really got to start out. You got to make it happen. But I think all of us know how to make stuff happen. And so we had a time was running short, but we were trusting. We were saying it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And then while I think it was even though Greg White takes the credit for it, Wilder told me that she's the one that actually came up with the idea. But they talked to Mr. Willie Cooper and said, hey, would you be interested? He has a piece of land. I think y'all used to be y'all lounge where y'all used to hang out at over on Volusia. What's it called? The Silver Lake Lounge? It used to be a lounge. Everybody, see y'all know about that right there. But and so Mr. Cooper and myself, we met, and he really wants to make this happen. He's been with us from the beginning. We just never put 2 and 2 together. And so we came to an agreement for us to lease that property. And essentially what we're going to do, you're going to see within the next couple of weeks, that building is going to come down. I'll show you what's going to go there in a little bit, but we're going to bring in a modular campus. And a modular campus can literally, once we set everything set in place, a modular campus can literally be set up in 2 days, and then we run the plumbing and the electrical. And so that was wonderful because we really wanted to be in the area of the kids that we were wanting to serve, and so that was wonderful for that to happen. But 195 Volusia Street is the location that we'll be using. And so anytime if you all see Mr. Cooper, tell him thank you. And because the whole community is going to be a part of this. And we're going to look back in 5 years, and all of us are going to be so proud because all of us played a role in it. And we're going to be all proud to wear our lining shirts and come to our academic pep rallies. You know, so some schools, you know, have sports pep rallies. They get really excited about sports, and sports is fine. But we're gonna have academic pep rallies. We're gonna get excited about our kids making good grades and get them used to success and excited about being smart, not being embarrassed about being smart, but excited about being smart. And so 195 Volusia Street is going to be the location. We'll start out, in the end, we'll be kindergarten through 5th grade. But now we're starting out with K through 2. All right, and then so what that does by starting out with K through 2, it puts us in a position to where we can really have some time to work with our kids and really get them on par. Even if we have a child that comes in the 2nd grade or comes in the 1st grade or even kindergarten, that's not where we expect for them to be by that time. It gives us time to really work with the children, as opposed to taking a child that's already in the 5th grade and not really having time to get that child ready for middle school or get that or have that child prepared. So we're taking them in K through 2 in year 1, and then in year 3 we'll add 3rd grade. Year 2 we'll add 3rd. Year 3 we'll add 4th. Year 4 we'll add 5th grade. So we'll add a grade. So essentially what's going to happen is what grade are you in right now? So you'll be in 2nd grade. And so when she comes in, Martha, you can come and sit up here with the board. When Richera comes in the 2nd grade, what happened, Richera and her class, all 2nd graders, they'll move up to 3rd grade. And so if no students leave, if all the students stay and no students go back to the school district, if everyone stays, that means the only new students that will be coming in are kindergartners. And so that's why it's great for students to take advantage up front, because if you have a child that you chose not to start with us, and then you find out, we start on August 20th, you find out by August 21st that, man, St. Paul School of Excellence, that's where it's at, and we're filled up, and you want to get in, you're probably not going to be able to get in because we're going to keep our classes small. That's part of our philosophy, 18 students in the class, and we're not trying to be a huge school. And so we're only going to have 2 grades per, 2 classes per grade. And so if those classes are full, we're not going to go and add a whole nother class just because we have 18 more students that are in the 2nd grade that want to come to St. Paul School of Excellence. We're not going to step outside of our philosophy to do that. We're trying to set an example and show that our kids can actually compete with any kid, and then hopefully we can convince others that if we approach our families a little bit different, we can probably get a better output we can probably get a better product than we're getting right now. And so hopefully it'll convince some other people that what you thought was norm, 30% less proficiency, 27% less proficiency, is not really norm. There might be something on your part that you need to do to help these students out. So we're not just going to grow larger to meet the needs of the whole community. We're going to have a group of students that started out with us that we're going to take on through the 5th grade, and then add new kindergartens each year. Our mission. Now, if anyone has a question while I'm talking, because you might not remember, when we get to the end what your question was, you can just stop me and ask the question. All right. Our St. Paul School of Excellence will prepare lifelong learners who use determination and innovative thinking to be creative and curious about their world. We want to have our children to think. Dr. Edwidge Bryant played a big role in helping us develop this mission. Dr. Bryant, what was on your mind when we were developing this mission statement and this mission? What was on your mind?
Well, especially around preparing lifelong learners. As we see, a lot of times what happens in schools is, especially now, a lot of teaching to the test. So in other words, that the students they know just about what they need to know, and that's it. And to do well on the test, by the time that they go to summer school and so forth, they've forgotten most of what they learned. We don't want that. We want for our students to be excited, as Reverend Ross just said, about learning and knowing that every day is an opportunity to learn. And once you leave school, it doesn't mean that that's it. You don't have to worry about learning anymore. No, when we find really good teachers and good students who have been taught how to learn, they start seeing opportunities to learn every single day. They're always asking questions. They want to know. And we want for them to ask questions, be curious. Don't just accept because life is not really that way that you sit back and accept. We want for them to say, why is this color red? How did that happen? And because through that, they'll continue this process for a very long time. And this is what we're hoping will happen, that they'll always want to learn. And it's not so much as I hate school and seeing it as a place that is just to teach them what they want to teach them. No, it's a place that's going to be welcoming, and it's a place that's going to say, we're going to teach you how to enjoy learning so that you will always see yourself as learners.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? All right. Our vision, we expect academic excellence. That's the expectation. We don't walk in thinking that, oh, this is good. We expect academic excellence from every kid that puts that line on their chest. We expect academic excellence from our students, as well as personal investment from their family. Our philosophy is that the whole family has to buy into the education of the child. They can't just be school educating the child and the family not involved. If that's the case, that right there is a recipe for failure right there. It takes the whole family buying in. The parent doesn't need to have a PhD, but the parent needs to buy into the academic plan for their child, and there has to be a personal investment. I mean, my children, by the time they got to high school and the kind of classes they were taking, too much I could do as far as help with homework. I was pretty much tapped out, when it started calculus and all that stuff. I was kind of tapped out. I wouldn't cook, but I knew how to find some help. I knew how to go and get some help. I might not be able to help you, but I can help you help yourself. And so it takes a personal investment. It takes the families being involved, knowing what's going on in the school. So many times I see with the kids that I mentor, I see parents that, because they have to turn in progress reports and things like that. And so many times I see parents that don't know what's going on. What's going on with the school. And I'm not going to put all of it on the parent because I think that the school has to help the parent buy into the program. But with the resources that are out there, all the parent has to do is go on ISIS, and you can see what grades your children are making, what homework is due. What you don't even need your child to tell you what's due or what their grades are looking like. You can go on the computer and you can see what the grades are currently. You can see what has been turned and hasn't been turned in. The parent can be involved, and we want parents to also be involved to the point to where we want to know the parents. We want the parents to be involved, a real active PTA, or real parents really active in the life of the school. I think that's a sign for a successful school also, where the parents are coming around and the parents are volunteering and the parents are proud lions as well, and everybody wants the best for the school and for the children, and willing to make a sacrifice and effort. And so in that vision, and with the vision, the St. Paul School of Excellence is also committed to reestablishing a culture of pride and integrity within our community. I'm not from St. Augustine. I think all of you all know that. But I hear a lot about the way that things used to be, about how thriving businesses in our communities, and things were just really well. People were doing well. Things aren't like they are sometimes now. And I'm of the stance that I don't think it has to be the way it used to be. I think that today we can make our communities nice. I think we can take pride in our academic institutions. I think that we can restore a culture of pride and integrity within our community. It drives me crazy when I'm walking down the street and I see a kid come out of the store, or adult, not just a kid, an adult, come out of the store and have some paper, they take whatever they got of paper and just throw it on the ground. No, that's why I hired that man. Hired that man, brother. We have to be proud about what's ours. Not going to litter up I guarantee you, we might not have the most expensive campus in St. Johns County, but I bet you we'll have the cleanest campus in St. Johns County. All right, and so in the same way that our kids and our parents come and will take pride in our campus and make sure that our campus is always beautiful and welcoming, and you can always look at it and just be proud that that's our school. That same mentality will carry over into our neighborhood, and when we see somebody walk down the street and finish a can of soda and throw it on the ground, I can see one of the kids, I can see your heart's already now. Say, hey, you dropped stuff, pick it up, because that's not normal. You see, when we make people think that stuff is normal, then you don't say anything because that's normal to throw stuff on the ground. But with a kid that's going to come from the St. Paul School of Excellence and their family, that's going to have an opportunity to see, you know what, we're not going to accept this as normal in our community. And then they'll begin, if nobody else will say anything, Sister Baker, you can go and pull your seat up over there with the board. If nobody else will think it's normal, the St. Paul School of Excellence family will think it's normal. Our parents, our children, and then we can count on, if we can't count on anybody else, parents might be a little shy about saying something to folks, but these little kids, when they see somebody do something that's not normal, they'll let you know, hey, what you did is not normal, you need to pick up that paper right there. And I'm sure they'll say it, but they'll say it in a nice way because you all train them well, but they will say something about it. All right, so our vision is not just for the children, not just for the school, but it's a whole community vision to restore a culture of pride and integrity within our community. The vision continues as a school. St. Paul School of Excellence will provide a learning opportunity with emphasis on academic linguistics and social growth. Dr. Brian, you want to speak on that again?
Oh, absolutely. Again, providing we're focusing in these three major areas: academic, linguistic, and social. Where academic, that's pretty self-explanatory, that we want for our students to excel in all the subject areas. We're going to emphasize that, and we're going to make sure that it happens. So it's the math, the science, the social studies, including technology. Because as you know, nowadays, all of the children are very heavily into technology. And in technology, how do you use that information? Because there's a lot of information out there, and we want for our students to be able to select what is good information and what is not. And as young as our babies will be, this is the world that they're being thrown in and entered in. So we see that academic progress to be extremely, extremely important, also with the focus on technology. Linguistic, we know that our students or our children must be able to use and analyze and dissect the English language. Okay, they have to be able to understand it extremely well. Not only to be able to write it, they must be able to read it, and they must be very proficient users of the language. So there's going to be a very strong linguistic component associated with this. But they master the English language. We know that by the time they graduate from high school, they will be taking SAT tests, they will be taking ACTs, and we want for them to be very well prepared around all of the linguistic issues associated with it. Then the next is the social growth. We also know that part of being a very successful adult is to be able to work collaboratively with the people around you. So we are going to focus on how do we work together as a group? How do we talk to each other as a group? How do we use our language to get what it is that we need? How do we enjoy being with each other in the groups and all of that? So we also feel that those three components in a classroom environment has to lead to success and has to lead to excellence. And that's why, as Reverend Paul said, we're keeping our numbers small so that we can really place emphasis on those three areas. And as I said, we do that, we're bound to be extremely successful. And that's what we're going to do.
See, if we wanted to, I think the point that she was making about keeping them small, if it was about just money, we would load the maximum number of students in the class with that one teacher's salary and max out. But we don't think that we don't think that's what's best for the students. What we're actually, Mr. Ramsey, you want to talk about the concept? We're going to make major sacrifices as it relates to making sure that each student has the ability to almost get one-on-one instruction. Even though we're 18 students in a class, but the ability to go and meet the needs of each student. And so what we have, in addition to we're going to hire great teachers. We're not going to cut corners on teachers because that's going to be the critical component to what we're doing. And so Mr. Ramsey, he's going to have the best and the brightest and energetic and innovative teachers. But in addition to those, we're going to have one roaming teacher. And that roaming teacher will be ESE certified, and so they'll have the ability to where if any of our students have already been labeled ESE to meet those needs, but bring those students up, and that teacher will be able to observe and work with the teacher. And so, Mr. Ramsey, can you kind of just explain the whole setting with teachers and this roaming teacher? Can you give us some insight on that?
What we're trying to do is bring in some innovative teachers to come in and 18 to a class, and it's 18 to a class, they will be familiar with that teacher, totally familiar. They will be able to explain to those kids what they need to know, how far they need to go with it. And in this process of bringing in the 2 different teachers per class, they will be able to create an environment as a family. And in creating an environment as a family, kids get comfortable. And once they get comfortable, they learn the teacher, learn the ways of the class, and then they can move forward. But if a kid's not comfortable in a class, they're not going to be successful. So we got to make kids comfortable, we got to make them successful, and we got to bring in the teachers that want to do this. In order to do this, there are 3 things that I feel that are necessary. One is, do you want to be there? The teacher's got to want to be there. 2 is, are you innovative? 3, can you use technology? These 3 things need to be done in the classroom. In order to make that happen, we got to look around and find some innovative teachers. And that's not easy. That's not easy. That's a hard task. So what we're doing is we're advertising everywhere. We're advertising everywhere. We're advertising with the school district. We're advertising with the charter schools. We're advertising in the community to bring in innovative teachers to make sure that this happens. The other thing that I feel is necessary is that the kids themselves want to learn. The kids have got to want to learn themselves. No kid is an ESE kid when they walk in the door. We put a kid into an ESE position, not a kid being in an ESE position, simply because when a kid walks in, you have got to culture that kid, you've got to work with that kid, you got to make that kid want to do it. But you cannot make him an ESE kid. There are 5 different things that you can do before you say this kid's an ESE kid. So we got to remove some labels for a while. Let's remove the labels. Let's open the door and let's see what kids can do. And as we go through the process, then we look at labels. But until then, let's open the door and let's be creative and let kids show you what they can do. And that's what I want to do at this school. Open the door, let kids be able to understand and know that everybody here is on the same accord and we all can do it. And as the year go on, we see problems and issues. Then we start to be more receptive to open the door to maybe the possibility ESE. But we label our kids too fast nowadays. We label them too fast, and we need to give them an opportunity to open that door. And that's what I want to do. I want to open the door. Open the door and give them an opportunity. And let them see that they can learn. We cannot keep saying to our kids, you can't do this. Our kids can do this. I know they can do it. I've been in schools where they did it. And I want to make sure that now I can touch the minds when they first walk in the door. I've had them in 6th grade. I've had them in 12th grade. Now I have the minds when they first walking in. If you cultivate a mind in kindergarten, that kid will not lose it all the way through school. I can assure you. If you give it to them in the basic grades and let them know what they can do, and don't kill their feelings, don't kill their desire, and just let them learn. By the time they get through middle school and high school, the concept is already there. You've given them the concept. You can't take the concept from them. They know how to learn, and you can't just remove that from them. And as they go through the school years, they will be successful. And I can assure you that. Because when I got them from elementary school, I'll say sometime, man, I wish I could have had this kid 2 years ago. Now I have the opportunity to have when they walk in the door. Kindergarten is walking in the door. And put creative teachers in there to help those kids. There's no failure. You cannot have a failure in that class. There's no failure because you're teaching them their first words. You're teaching them first understanding. Okay? So that's what we want to do at this school. Open the door and let them see what we're doing. And putting the right teachers behind that desk, okay, there's no failure. But the parents have got to be involved. The parents have got to be involved. You cannot, if a kid come home and want to talk to you about, here's what I learned in school today. Stop and talk with them. They want to continue learning. Don't just, okay, good, put your book over here. Now, we're going to require parents to be a part of this. I think parents need to be a part of this. You're going to have to come out there and sit down and talk too. Okay? You have got to do that. And the contract that you write and that you sign, saying I'm going to come out and I will participate and have my child. And that's going to be necessary. And you'll see a totally different child by the time they leave 3rd grade.
And we're going to give the parent a cheat sheet. Because one of the concepts that we're going to do is each day we're going to send the parents home a brief review of what was dealt with, what was covered that day. And so the parents will actually have a cheat sheet when they have that conversation. Not a whole bunch of detail, but it's a general cheat sheet of what was learned that day. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you said you were going to have a teacher roaming in.
Yes.
So you're actually going to have a co-teach situation and not a pull-out situation
Right.
for the ESE students.
And you're going to have an inclusion.
Right, you're going to have inclusion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So will this teacher be supporting all the students?
All the students, all the grades.
Once we reach 5th grade, then we're after the first 3 years, then we're going to add an additional teacher. So there'll be 2 Roman teachers then. So while we at K through 2, and then I think it's the first 2 years, we're going to have that 1 Roman teacher. And in the 3rd year, we're going to add another Roman teacher to assist because we have more students now. Well,
I was just going to help you out a little bit
Okay.
with your numbers, because if you got an inclusion teacher, then you don't have 18 students to 1. You got 2 teachers
There you go.
to
Correct.
18. So I mean that makes it 9 per teacher.
Right.
So that makes the learning better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You call it. That's it. And that's the idea that we're doing. We want to make sure if we're going to spend some money, we want to spend money on the people that can massage those minds and get those kids, get that mind thinking and curious about, like Dr. Brian said, why is that red? You know, so that's where we're going to make the investment.
But keep in mind, the thing that we're trying to avoid too, kids know when you pull them out of a classroom. I'm different. Okay? So we got to avoid that at an early age. We need to avoid that. So I'd rather send a teacher in than take a student out. Okay? Because kids, even though you might not believe it, but kindergarten knows I'm different. Because I'm not standing there with those other 18. Okay? So we want to try to avoid that. And until that's totally necessary, we want to avoid that. Okay? That needs to be avoided. Because you don't want anybody to feel different. Not at that age.
All right. Students' social and emotional development will be strengthened by the school's curriculum and environment. We're going to set an environment It's going to help students become stronger socially, their emotional development, and also their social development. Mr. Ramsey, that's why he's hired, and that's why the teachers that he hires, they're going to have that ability to set that tone, set that atmosphere. I like a confident child, but every child that come out the womb like that, you know, we can set an environment that creates confidence in a child. Child look you in the eye, shake your hand, and speak clear, hold their head up, not drop their head when they're talking to you. We can create that in that type of confidence in a child.
And keep in mind, the curriculum that we're using is St. Johns County School District curriculum. We're using the same curriculum, but we can either speed it up or we can slow it down. But our students will have to be able to leave us and go back to St. Johns County School District on the same page. So our kids cannot be behind, okay? They cannot be behind, because when they leave kindergarten from St. Johns County School District, we own the same curriculum they have also. So when our kids walk out the door, I don't want somebody to call back and tell me, well, my child is a half a year behind because he was over at St. Paul School Excellence. That won't happen. They might say you're a little ahead, but it won't be behind. Okay? Keep that in mind. We will. So our curriculum is nothing out of the ordinary, but Dr. Bryan has showed us different ways to manipulate it. So if our kids don't understand, we can explain in a different way. And that's the kind of thing that we need to be able to do. Give other examples besides one way. Okay? There's always another way to do it.
All right. The inaugural school term, 2012-2013 school year, will start on August 20, 2012, 195. We start out with kindergarten through second grade. 108 students. That's 2 classes each grade. 108 students. Child has to be, for kindergarten, they have to be age 5 by September 1st, 2012. First grade, that child has to be age 6 as of September 1st, 2012, and have a successful completion of kindergarten. Has to be a St. Johns County resident. Now this number right here is very critical. That's where we need you all. St. Paul School of Excellence is going to start regardless. We have enough students now to fill up 1 class for each grade. But in order for us to offer everything we want to offer, that 108 student helps us make sure that we have a budget to operate in the way that we want to operate without having to pare down. Because we will operate and we will offer excellent education for the students that we have. But in order for us to be able to get everything that we want to offer our students, that number right there is a very important number. You all make that number happen. There's some people in our community, some people in our neighborhood that have children. They're going to get tests back in the next couple of weeks. They're going to get some tests back, and it's going to show again that the students aren't up to par. Students aren't up to par, and they're going to have to make a choice. And some of them are just going to know their child themselves. They're going to look at their child and look at their child next to their peers, and say, you know what, my child does fit that 31% less proficient in math. Does fit, in reading. Does fit that 27 less proficient in math. That's my child. And they're going to need for you to be able to present what we presented tonight and say, you know what, you need to put your child in a better position to be successful. Because each year that you allow your child to lag behind, by the time they reach high school, it's going to be so frustrating. And sometimes even middle school, by the time they reach 6th grade, 7th grade, it's going to be so frustrating that they're going to begin to act out, to show their disappointment in other areas. And so I might not be smart, okay, but I bet you I can bring this class to a halt. A lot of kids that folk think are bad, they're not bad. You know, they just so, they get so behind academically where they're so embarrassed at what they're not able to do, you know, and then they have to, in other ways, you know, show that, hey, I'm not on the bottom now. I can get on the top. It just might not be an academic, but I can get on the top of this thing now. And we don't want to put our kids in that position to where they have to do things like that to be noticed or to get attention. And so you're gonna know some people. You're gonna know some family members, some students that you're gonna see that seem like, you know what, the right focus. There's some parents that you're gonna see that, you know what, they could actually use some assistance in trying to and learning to help their kids get in a better position. But our students will have to be a resident of St. Johns County. The site that's back where we at now, we've actually we're blessed. I'm going to tell you, we're blessed. This is just the Cooper property that we're missing. That building right there is going to be removed. This stuff is going to be cleared, and I'll show you the building. But in addition to that, just to make sure we had some leg room, you know, I don't like to tight off. We just needed some leg room. And there's a road project that's happening right here, and the county brought all this property right here and there. And so we went to talk to the county and said, you know, we just need some leg room just in case we want to do something later on. And so the county also gave us that, and that. And so even though in the beginning, we're not and so even though in the beginning we might not use all that, but we can also develop that, you know, to work with our kids and to do projects, you know. I can see our teachers taking kids out through a little nice little trail that we built back there and doing science projects and things like that. You know, that now we got some leg room now. We're not all cramped up and tight. We got some leg room to do some things now. And so that's where we're going to be located. Just to give an idea how it's going to look. I don't know if you can see this too well, but basically what it is. That front part up there, that's a parking lot. Now I'll put this back on the screen so you all can come up and look at it in the end. But this is the parking lot, a nicely developed parking lot, and you know there's a lot of rules and things like that you have to follow. But the county has been wonderful in working with us, and every obstacle that could have come up, they've been cleared, they've been taken care of for us. But this is the parking area, high quality parking area. You're not going to be embarrassed about anything about our campus. That's why we're doing it that way. And some folks might say, well, why are you spending so much money to do it? I mean, how are you going to create and restore a culture of pride and integrity if you go and do it halfway? You know? And so we're going to do it right. And so there's going to be a nice paved parking area. And then as you come into the campus, you come into the buildings, there will be a row of buildings here, and there will be the modular classroom. But they're stacked side by side, so they actually look like a building, one building. But you'll have a row of buildings here with 5 buildings, and then right here you have 4. And then right up front you'll have the restroom right up there, and then back here that's the rest of that property. We'll decide, you know, how else we want to do. We want to organize that, but that's pretty much how the campus is going to be laid out. And so this row of buildings, the doors will be on this side, on the inside. And this row of building, the doors will be on that side. There'll be a wood deck out front. The building will probably sit about probably less than 6 inches off the ground, probably around 6 inches off the ground. We have a wood deck where they'll come up on the deck, and then we'll have and so in between the buildings right here, and on the wood deck piece, it's a 20-foot wood deck, and we'll have outside picnic table. There will be picnic table, that same style with benches and a table. We'll have 3 of them set up down the way, and so even if teachers want to bring the kids outside to do a project and do something, you know, the teachers are going to be free to be innovative. You know, some of the teachers are not going to want to just sit in the classroom, where the teachers are going to be free to be innovative and do what it takes. And so that'll be a place to socialize. And so when a person comes on this campus, the first thing they're going to see as they come through this entrance right here, on the outside we'll have the black fence that you have, the nice black fence. We'll have that black fence running around the campus, and then when they come up out of the parking lot and come up to the campus, the first building they're gonna see is the office. They don't have to check into the office before they can get to anything in the back. So it'll be very secure. We have a very secure system, and then we'll have a lot of education going on back here. So we won't have this huge campus, but we'll get there. We'll get there. If you all convince the community that, hey, let's all jump on this up front so that we can make sure we have all the resources to do what we need to do in 3 years, we'll get a chance to really start some new things that's going to even take us to a higher level. But you're going to be proud of this right here. And just to give you an idea, this is what the classroom will look like. And so this is just one row, all right? And so you have a row this way, and then you remember on the other side, there's a row facing. Okay, and then you have about 20 feet in between. So just imagine right here, that would be your admin office. And so when people come up on the campus, it won't be this type of setup right here. We'll have a different type of stairway. But as people come on, they'll have an admin office right there that they'll have to check in when they come to the campus. And we'll be very, very high tech. All of our classrooms will have computers, we'll have overheads, all of our classes, we'll have internet, and so we're a very high tech system. Any questions anybody has at this point right here? Yes, sir.
When I was going to school, where you learn all that cool, but I was ready for lunch, man. I'm ready for lunch. I'm trying to, with the cafeteria, I want to know what you need.
We gonna feed you, but we're not gonna. It's not gonna be a cafeteria. All right, we'll not a cafeteria cooking. There'll be a room, a multi-purpose room to eat in. But what's going to happen is we're gonna use what's called a piggyback system. And the lunches, some kids might bring their own lunches. And free and reduced lunches will be offered. But the lunches will be prepared at Webster, just like they prepare for their students. And then we'll transport them over and serve them at our school. And so Webster will prepare the lunches, and we'll transport the lunches over to those kids that use those lunches. And then those kids will come in and eat those lunches. We'll have warmers there to keep the lunches warm if it's a warm lunch. But that's one of the things that we won't have in our school. But the kids we won't have a full service kitchen. But that'll be the piece that'll come after the 3 years in the next phase. But we will have the kids will either have a hot lunch every day, or they can bring their own lunch. And free and reduced lunch will be offered. All right. The curriculum philosophy: reading, math, science, social studies, language arts, music and arts, and then our little prize piece that's going to be our thing. Our 50 boys choir. You know, you go and you got Edward Boys choir, band choir, BCU choir. You know, you got these choirs. Well, we're gonna have this strong choir. I'm not talking about. I mean, they're gonna sing. I mean, they're gonna have a good variety of songs. They're gonna be trained, and we're gonna have this 50 voice choir kids that's coming, and we'll walk into an auditorium confident. I'm telling you where this came from. Sometimes when you're the president, you can be a little selfish and come up with things. And so I was at a school board meeting, and one of the middle schools from the county came to a school board meeting. And these kids walked in so professional in line. They came, they lined up, and then their director was out there, and the director and I was like, oh, they're going to be all of it. Then you have little solos come out, confident. And I was like, God, I mean, that's confident. That kind of stuff right there, when a child has that kind of confidence, they can in every area of life, they can exude that type of confidence. And so I said to myself, at the St. Paul School of Excellence, we're going to offer an opportunity for our kids to go in front of governors and colleges and what do you say? And president, and go and sing. You know, they have President Obama invite the St. Paul School of Excellence to come and sing at We might not be ready by the time he get elected this time. But some other person come, he can, the next year, he can invite us to come to the White House and have these confident kids come and sing and have good posture and good clarity in their voices and sing with confidence and look trained. I mean, that's what I want to present. And not only I want to be with that choir as we travel even in our community. I want their peers that know them. I want their peers to be able to see them walk into the Martin Luther King breakfast or something. Their peers look at them, or their peers, you know, see them somewhere else, and their peers see them coming and see these kids come in and walk, you know, disciplined and serious and confident and line up and then begin to sing like they just somebody. I want their peers to see that, because then their peers can say, I didn't know your son could do that. Wow, I didn't know right now that Jared could do that right there. And then their peers will begin to see a different side. You know, that wow, we can do things like that. And so that's going to be our signature piece right there, our 50 voice choir. All right, might be a 108 voice choir, but 50 at least. All right, but we'll have to have a parental pledge. That's where the parent involvement comes in. The parents are going to have to agree, because one thing about a charter school, everyone is welcome, but we have the right. We can actually have parents to be responsible to sign contracts. And there's going to be a contract the parents are going to sign, basically going to say that they're not going to be involved in the child's education. All right? And then also that they'll be involved in the opportunities that we'll offer. And so let's say when they sign that contract, their monthly empowerment workshops that we're going to offer for our parents. We're hoping to have a very diverse parent group. And so out of 9 months, parents will have six workshops that they'll have to attend. All right, but we're hoping that so let's say a workshop is financial literacy or parenting or professional development, writing resumes or whatever the workshop is about. But we're hoping to have such a diverse family group to where, you know, if we happen to have a parent that may be into accounting or something like that, you know, that parent actually gives to the school and offers their strength. Or we have a parent that's into coaching, you know, professional coaching, not sports coaching, but coaching professionally and maybe starting businesses or something like that. That parent will come and be able to lead a workshop with the other parents. And so it's not so much that we have to bring all these outside people to come in and help empower ourselves, but as a community, we can build on the talent and the skills that we have within the St. Paul School of Excellence family, and we can offer opportunities to help strengthen our skills. You know, as sharp as I think I am, there's more stuff that I don't know than I do know. A whole lot more stuff that I don't know. And so I'm always trying to put myself in a position for continuing education, to go and learn this and learn that. And that's the environment that we want to put our parents in, to where our parents have the opportunity to learn more and develop more. And if we do have parents that are in situations that they might not finish high school, they want to get that done. We're going to establish partnership and assist those parents to empower themselves and strengthen themselves. They want to help. They want help with putting together good resumes and have job interviewing skills. We hope to offer those opportunities to help people out better. You know, so you know, some folks just don't know it better. You know, you go to a job interview and you dress like you're going to the grocery store and you just didn't know. You know, you weren't trying to be hard-headed. You just didn't know. But we want to offer those kind of skills to our parents to empower our parents, because the more empowered our parents are, the stronger our kids are going to be. All right? You got to go that one, maybe? There you go. All right. All right. And then, you know, these are some of the examples of workshops: financial literacy, adult education, parenting, professional development. But then we have the application process. Submit an application for each child. The application can be downloaded at that website. We have a bunch of applications right there. We've already had one application period. It ended on March the 31st. That was the early bird registration. All right, we've already admitted those students. Right now, we have an application period that actually ends today, May 31st. But what we said that we would do is that anybody that was here that wanted to be a part of this application period, that what we would do is we would sign your application that you were here today, and we would give you 5 days to get it completed, and it would count for the regular registration period that ends on May 31st. So, but then we'll have another one after this one that'll end on July 31st, and it's a late registration period. And but what we hope to have happen is, like say like right now, say we have 30 kids admitted or whatnot, and say if there were so many slots available, let's say if we had 70 more slots available, and at the end of this application period today, we only had 50 applications that were ready to be reviewed for this next period. More than likely, all 50 of those children, if we can serve those children, will be admitted. If we can serve. Now, a kid might have a disability at a level to where we don't have the ability to serve it, just like the school district refers. School, if a kid comes and they have a disability that the school doesn't have the resources, they'll refer to a school that has those resources. And so in the same manner, if we can serve that child and the maximum number has been reached, more than likely all those students will be admitted. But if the number of applications goes beyond the number of spaces, and then we have to just put it in a lottery, and then pool just is out, and then whoever is picked to fill those spaces. And so that's why it's extremely important to get those in. So even tonight, if you know that you have someone that wants to fill out the application, and they want to be a part of the one that ends today, you just get us to sign that application, and then by next Thursday, you'll have the application back to us and turned in so that you can meet that deadline. And if not, it'll just be in the next one. Yes, sir.
But also you need to let the parents know that when you're talking about ESC, that the school district still has to come out to our school and give the support that they would do in the regular school. So if your child has speech impediment or speech problems, they will have to come to school, St. Paul School of Excellence, to still serve your child. So just because he is not in the school system, he is still in the school system. And if they have any deficiencies, the school district is still responsible to come to St. Paul to continue that child's education. Okay? Make sure you keep that in mind. So if you're taking them from another school and they have deficiencies, say speech, they still have to come to St. Paul to give them that at a certain time. So they're not losing anything by not being with the district.
All right. So this is how you submit the application. You can go online, fill it out, bring it out and give it to us, or you can pick it up in the back and do it. And we'll review the application. Probably take about a week and a half to review the application. And then we'll give notice of the application status. We'll give you a call and let you know that your child was either admitted or not admitted. And then, but if we have to, then we'll have to do a lottery process. And then that piece right there will just be, whatever name pops up in the lottery. This is our contact information for the school, and St. Paul School of Excellence is your school. All right. Now, we have some models up here for you. And I guess there was something I didn't have on there. Any child that lives outside of a 2-mile radius, but within a certain limited area, which we've kind of identified as 5 miles, we will offer transportation. But we're also looking into the idea that if we have enough children from an area that might be outside of the 5 miles, that if we have enough children in a certain area to make it make sense, if we had 30 children in a certain area that could fill up half of the school bus, then we would also be willing to look at the idea. There's an area that we're also looking at, that we have enough interest in that area that we'll see if we can arrange transportation. But if transportation is not an issue at all, any child has the ability to come. But if transportation is needed, we're actually looking at another area and seeing if we can make it feasible to offer transportation to that area if we can have enough applicants from that area admitted to the St. Paul School of Excellence. But before I show my models off, I saw a hand. Was that your hand?
You answered it.
Okay, that answered it.
I got another question, right?
Yes, sir.
So school be out at 3:30, right?
I think it's what, 8:30, 3:30?
So,
Yeah. Same as the school district.
So I want to ask you, what if I'm a parent that don't get off at 5 o'clock?
Okay. We have an after-school program. We have an after-school program that runs to 5. I think it's 5 or 5:30. I have to look. It's on the application. But we will have an after-school program. And in that after-school program, we really want to take advantage and be able to give an opportunity for more teaching to take place to make sure that we can make sure all of our kids are on the same level. But we have our students. This is Ms. Richera Anderson. She has her burgundy polo and her khaki skirt, and so the children will be required. They'll always have to have either whichever top it is, whether it's the white one or the burgundy one, or even for some little girls, there's even a sweater. All right, and then there's a jacket for the girls and boys can wear. That also has the logo on it. We order the uniforms from Sports Corner. We have an order form, and you just fill out the order form. But essentially, they're $12. All right, and so let's say you bought 4 or 5 shirts for $12. That sounds like $60 to me. And then the uniform, the pants, and the skirts, they cost like $10 to $14. And so $60, and then another $14 times 5 is something. 75, somewhere around 75. All right, so 15 times 5, 75. So 75 plus 60 is what you doing there? 75 plus 6, about $135, $135, and then you go and spend another $50 on shoes. My mom, okay, go ahead to the bathroom. I got her you. And so in reality, for less than $200, you go school shopping for the whole semester. For less than $200. You go and you got the shoes, you got the clothes, and all you do is wake up in the morning and you're gonna put on khaki pants or a khaki skirt or a khaki sport or a khaki the capris and your tennis shoes or some rubber sole shoes and your shirt, and you good. All that talking about this and that, that's all out the door. All right? So $200, you bought a whole uniform for a semester. And if you got a neat kid, you might be able to get a year out of it if they don't grow too much. But you got a whole uniform for a semester. You can't beat that. And then we have Miss Ray Nye. Miss Ray Nye, she has her white polo. If you notice, Richera had a burgundy polo on. Miss Ray Nye has the white polo. Also the St. Paul School of Excellence line. And then she has her khaki pants. All right, and then she's able to do whatever she wants with her hair. She has the accessories and whatnot. But it's done. I mean, her outfit is done, and so she just wakes up in the morning. This little girl right here, Richera, came today, and she had pants, and she just decided she wanted to put on a skirt. So she was able to change her uniform and still fit within the policy just by going and switching out her pants with a skirt, and but she still fit in the policy. And then Ms. Renee has her rubber sole tennis shoes on also. And then our little male model, there he is. He wanted to make an entrance, so everybody clap for him when he comes in. He put his shirt in his pants and gets some water. Everybody clap for him. This is Mr. Jahar's son. All right? Mr. Jahar's son, he knows that Mr. Ramsey is his principal, so he's stucking his pants in. And the pastor thought he would have had a belt. The pastor forgot to bring the belt, all right? But he has his polo shirt and his khaki pants, and can all y'all just stand up together? Nobody's competing, nobody looks better than anybody else. Everyone looks uniform, everyone looks nice, and they all did and so now they can come to school. They don't have to worry about clothes or anything. They can just worry about learning and not who looks different or who looks better or who looks work. Can't anybody pick at anybody. You got the same shirt I got. How you gonna pick at my shirt? You know what I'm saying? Your pants the same color my pants. And so now they can really focus on learning and getting themselves in a position to be competitive academically. Let's give our models a big All right, and if the parents don't mind, I'm going to take the fake people off the website. I got some fake children on there for uniforms, and I'd like to put the real children on there if the parents give me permission. Amen. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I'm sorry for saying amen. I did that church party. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right. Any other questions, board members?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
There's no preference for shoes? What did you say about
Just rubber sole shoes, because they will have outside activities. And so tennis shoes are good. Tennis shoes.
Closed-in.
Huh?
Closed-in shoes.
Yes, closed-in shoes, yes. Because they'll have outside activities. And so we want them to be able to participate in outside activities also. All right? But yeah, closed-in. Board members, any of our board members have anything? Did somebody have another question?
No,
Go ahead.
So they can they wear the khaki shorts too?
Yeah. They can wear khaki shorts, khaki skirts, khaki skirts, khaki capris, khaki long pants. Now the shorts, you know, they gotta be there's a level, but they can wear shorts as long as they reach that certain level. All right. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can I do something?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say you guys put together a great program here. I'm Diane Johnson. I'm the director of nursing at Kaiser University, and with academics, and I think we've got a really good program. Very excited for our community. I'm a member of St. Paul, and I want to present this to Pastor Rawls. This meant a lot to me. I won the MVP for academics at Kaiser University for the state of Florida last year, and I was presented with a Civil Excellence pin, and it reminded me so much about the excellence for the School of Excellence, and I want to give this to you.
That's pretty nice. We might be able to, when our kids accomplish excellence in the classroom, we might have a little thing that they can get them for those big pep rallies. It's pretty nice. You can show this. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Thank you. And another thing that was going to be a blessing for us also is that we're going to actually have a nurse, but we don't have to pay for a nurse because Ms. Johnson, she's the director of nursing at Kaiser University, and so she's going to work out a system to where they provide, their nursing students will provide service for us to fulfill their academic requirements. And so that's going to be really Yes, ma'am.
Is this lunch or breakfast and lunch?
Oh, breakfast and lunch. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Breakfast and lunch. And then if they're in the snack, if they're in the after school program also.
I know.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Did you say we could go to Sports Corner and get those already, or?
Yeah. We can go to Sports Corner. You can go to Sports Corner now.
Okay.
Okay. And so there's an order form that I have. And what I'll do is you just get that order form for me. I can even email it to you whenever request. But at school, we'll have a place to get them at any time. But before the school opens and this summer, if you want to go in, there's an order form that I'll give you that has the numbers, the codes, the product codes. And then you just fill out if I want burgundy, if I want white, if I want a cardigan, if I want the jacket, and they'll have the order. Right? And I think these are $12 a shirt, and I think these right here are $20 on those. All right? Yes. Yes, ma'am. No, they just so they can just kind of, they got 2 colors they can choose from, and then about 4 different things they can choose from. So it's just strictly on them. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Wonderful. Well, we appreciate you coming. If anyone needs assistance filling out an application, we have a lot of board members here. But Robert Nichols, you can't separate the preacher. I'm trying to separate. But Robert Nichols, he's him and Dwyer Willis. They're over our community outreach committee, and so they make sure that we stay on top of the pulse of the community, and we stay connected to the community, and so we appreciate all the work that they do. But we have a lot of people in here that can help you fill out applications. And so if you need assistance, fill out an application, or if you got an application that you'd like a signature on, for someone to be able to be approved for this application period, they'll have to turn in by next Thursday. We'll sign that. Or at all these board members, we can ask questions one-on-one if you like. But if there are no more questions, I want to thank you for coming out, and go and get us some more lining so we can have a full enrollment when school starts. All right? Have a great day.